Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining. I'm going to give it just one more minute to let people come in and then we'll get started. But thanks for being here. Thanks for being on time. Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started. So welcome from the Viterbi School of Engineering. My name is Julie Leggett. I am the Director for Graduate Recruitment in the engineering school here, and just really excited to congratulate you on your admission to the Engineering Management program. This is a really special program, mainly because all of you come from a myriad of backgrounds. I think very few of you actually have your undergrad degrees in engineering management. Most of you come from lots of other backgrounds in engineering and are excited and getting ready to take these leadership approaches and systems approaches and contributing to your field. So I think that's what makes the engineering management program so special. So engineering management is in the industrial and systems engineering department at USC. And just getting to take advantage of all those resources, especially faculty and staff and students. And so we will have those folks here to help just give you a better idea of what it's like to be a student here at USC and to tell you a little bit more about the department and this engineering management program specifically. Hopefully, well, some of you, I'm sure, have made your decision and you're excited to come to USC, and others might be still deciding, weighing your options. And hopefully we give you the insight that you need today to make the best decision for yourself. So welcome to Southern California. We are based in Los Angeles. I hope during the short presentation that I have, you'll get to see a couple of pictures of campus and learn a little bit about Los Angeles if you haven't been here already. We are very centrally located in Los Angeles. So we are about a mile and a half away from downtown. We are about 20 minutes from the beach, 20 minutes from the Hollywood Hills on days with good traffic. So you can get around pretty well to the things that you want to do. Very great for taking advantage of our beautiful weather and outdoor activities. But I also want to draw your attention to the right left side of the screen, which shows that LA is a global hub for innovation. So you may have heard of Silicon Bay up in the Bay Area. We are Silicon Beach down here. And that is because a lot of tech companies have satellites down here. We have a lot of startups here. So it's just a really great place for engineers and for this tech industry. We have two institutes by the beach. So ISI and ICT are our Institute for Creative Technologies and our Information Sciences Institute. They do a lot of research with regards to defense, with regards to 3D modeling and rendering and all that kind of fun stuff. So really great place to be for jobs. And then more about our campus. So I told you that we're very close to downtown. Right across the street, there's the Natural History Museum, the California Science Center, our Coliseum where our Trojans play football. We have the Endeavor spaceship over there that's really cool to see. We also have an astronaut that teaches in our astronautical department that actually flew on that Endeavour spaceship. So it's pretty amazing stuff right across the street. And then a bus right away, you have LA Live. That is that downtown area that you see in the background of this picture. LA Live is right there. The Walt Disney Concert Hall, Chinatown, Little Tokyo, Alvera Street, lots of different cultural places that you can visit. And then a little bit further out, about 15 miles, there's the Santa Monica Pier, which is really iconic to Los Angeles. Places like Hollywood and Universal Studios and Griffith Park Observatory for a lot of great hikes too. So very good for being outdoors if that's what you like to do. But a lot of students tell us that it's not only the location and the great weather of why they chose USC, but it's often more about, their career objectives after they graduate. And so we have our Viterbi Career Connections. This is a career center that is dedicated to helping engineering students at USC. We do have our larger career center that services all USC students on campus, and you are welcome to take advantage of those resources. But we also have our own career center in the engineering school. They have tons of activities, tons of ways to get you career ready. And that starts on day one, or maybe even before day one, because I think they also have a career readiness workshop the week before classes even start. So there's lots of expos on, there's a big career expo in the fall, there's a big career expo in the spring. But between those, there's lots of mock interviews with our employers. So you're actually getting your resume reviewed by someone in the industry. They're helping you to go over your pitches, your interview questions. And we have a lot of workshops that just help you kind of navigate the negotiation process, and really make our students very marketable and very ready to hit the ground running when the recruiters come around to being on campus. More about our career connections. You can see here over 19,000 jobs posted for our Viterbi students. So there's tons of opportunities. Over 200 employers come and recruit here. We have a How to Get Hired series, lots of networking events. That is what we really base a lot of our ability for our students to get hired is, being able to network and network well and network effectively. I mentioned mock interviews. We also do company site visits, and a lot of career panels with our alumni. Our alumni are a huge resource here. You've probably heard of the Trojan family many times, and it's something that's hard to really grasp until you're here and you feel it and you take advantage of it and you reach out and just say, hey, I'm looking for a mentor. These are kind of my, interests and passions, and you'll be surprised at how many people want to help you just because you're a Trojan. So the alumni network here is a very strong and very real thing. More about our community. So we talked about our alumni, but our community on campus is also a really place to get involved, and a great way to meet students and a great way to build your network. You've made a network for yourself in your undergrad with the people that you've met there, and graduate school is a way to just broaden your network, broaden your career opportunities. So lots of chances to get involved. We have cultural activities. You see Holy right here. We have seminars to attend where you get to talk with people that are really moving the needle in their fields. And so here you see that we had the CEO of Uber come and talk to our students. If you have an entrepreneurial spirit, we have the Viterbi Startup Garage that can help you in those endeavors. We also have Viterbi Graduate Student Association, which is a student organization that plans events for students, but also advocates for student needs. And so if that is something that you're passionate about, I highly encourage you to get involved. They are the largest student organization on campus, and so have a real presence and a real influence with our graduate students. All these activities, there are activities every single day. And engineering management students know that it's it's about managing your time. But you can find all of these on Engage SC. That is the app that has all of our events every day. You can see where there's going to be free food, free concerts, things like that on campus. Even if you are not interested in athletics, we are a school that has a big athletic community. And so I highly encourage you to attend a tailgate, attend a football game, attend a basketball game. All of our sports are really fun, and you can really just get the spirit of USC. We are a university that has a lot of tradition, a lot of pump and circumstance, and it's really fun to just feel that vibration on campus. You can get involved in hackathons, both in the Viterbi School of Engineering and in the broader USC. Lots of cash prizes available, and lots of ways to collaborate with students from other schools too. So you can collaborate with the school, students from the School of the Marshall School of Business, Dornsife. They have the Arts, Letters, and Sciences over there. So lots of ways to collaborate and win student competitions. We also know that our engineering programs are pretty rigorous, and so we definitely want to promote wellness. There are tons of wellness activities. We also have a wellness director right in the School of Engineering, ready to help our students because we know that your balance and your wellness is a priority. Again, lots of mixers and networking events and student clubs and VGSA again, just really great ways to get involved. And you can get involved in all of these things your very first semester on campus. We have a big student organization fair in the Viterbi School of Engineering, but there's also a student organization fair for all student orgs campus-wide. There's over 1,000 campus-wide orgs and over 100 orgs in our engineering school. So lots of ways to get involved. Okay, so the sooner that you submit that statement of intent, the sooner that you can take advantage of all these different fun activities at USC. We have some pre-orientation resources that help you to get acquainted with all the different resources on campus, like how to navigate our health centers or the gyms or safety resources or housing. All of those kinds of things you'll have access to once you submit your statement of intent. You can join our Viterbi mentorship program, which I highly recommend, which you're paired up with a graduate student that's been here for a year and has probably, learned a lot during their first year and is ready to help you navigate your first year. There are academic webinars, kind of like this one, but go a little bit more in depth into how to register, what to expect your first semester, things like that. And again, housing options. We do have very limited housing for graduate students on campus. Most of our on-campus housing is for incoming freshmen, but there are some housing resources. So as soon as you submit your statement of intent, the sooner you can apply for housing on campus. And then for international students, the sooner that you can request your I-20, initiate the visa process, we do encourage you to start that as soon as possible, once you know that USC is going to be the right school for you. So for most of you, you will have an April 15th deadline that's coming up really soon now that I think of it. I think that's next week. But some of you might have different deadlines. So you'll want to make sure what your deadline is, and you'll find that date in your USC portal. You'll have to kind of go through the motions like you're going to submit your statement of intent. Click the little button that says, yes, I intend to enroll, and a little drop down will appear with the date that your deadline is. And so you don't actually have to submit it if you're not ready, but that is how you're going to see what your deadline is. And then for our international students, your financial documents are separate. They're going to be through Trojan International. That deadline, I do not believe, is April 15th, but again, I highly encourage you to go ahead and take care of that as soon as you can, because you're going to need to do that to start the I-20 process and to schedule your visa appointment. So we want you to have all the time that you need so that you can get here when the semester starts in the fall in August. We encourage you to take advantage of coffee chats with our students. I believe that we have some of those coming up. You can take a virtual tour of campus if you haven't been to our campus already. You can explore student organizations. I mentioned over 1,000 student organizations on campus to get involved with, from professional societies to intramural sports, chess clubs, religious organizations. So really anything that you could want. And if something that you would like to see, but you can't find, you're more than welcome to start your own student organization. And you could learn about safety and wellness resources, all by scanning this QR code over here to the right. And lastly, I encourage you to reach out to our student ambassadors. I believe we have some today here to talk with you, but if you'd like to, sometimes you don't have questions until after, and things pop in your head and you're like, it would be great to ask somebody. I highly encourage you to take advantage of our student ambassadors. The QR code is down there on the right, but you can search through our ambassadors through our UnitBuddy site, and it is you can filter by student discipline. So if you're looking for someone that is in engineering management, you can try to search for that, or someone maybe from your hometown. You can see all of our student ambassadors and pick who you'd want to ask questions to, and try to get answers like what classes, what are classes like, what are your favorite classes, what are your favorite places to eat on campus or around Los Angeles, how easy is it to get around? Ask any of those kinds of questions, and our students are more than happy to answer. Okay, and also we'll try to answer as many questions as possible today, but sometimes, later on in the week, things kind of come to mind. This is a way to contact us if you think of anything later on. Again, we want to make sure that you have all the information you need to choose the graduate program that's going to be the best fit for you. Okay, I think that's all of my slides. I'm going to pass this on to Professor Liu in the engineering management program. He's the director of the engineering management program, and can tell you a lot more about what it's going to look like for you to be a student here. Let me stop sharing my screen. And
Good morning.
thank you, Professor Liu.
Good morning. Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Great. I am going to try to put my video on and make sure that works. Hopefully it does. Here it goes. Okay, it does work. So good morning all, and welcome. And welcome to all of you. And today is actually a beautiful sunny day here. So a little bit about our program. So our program has been around for quite some time, and the engineering management program in many ways is kind of like a very, I'll call it very open. And it's a very, very general graduate program in our engineering program that allows you to kind of move into many, many different disciplines. So, for example, many of our students will go on to become managers in engineering disciplines. We also have graduates that moves on to becoming project managers, program managers. Sometimes people move into business analysts. The latest one that is actually catching a lot of notoriety is this position that's called the product manager. In just about every one of my classes now, there are a few students that's expressing an interest in moving into product management. As a matter of fact, it's been so interesting. I've started to try to understand that and actually doing a bit more research into why this position is becoming so popular, and why is, our engineering management program and our students from this program is such a good fit for this job. And I think first and foremost, it seems to me what many of the students are telling me is, number one, this job is actually challenging, it's interesting, and it pays well. So certainly can understand why somebody or people would be attracted to that. And I've been actually talking to many people in the field that are product managers, and from what I'm hearing, it is in fact quite interesting. So seems to be that is kind of like the latest and the greatest trends move along with that. Now, in addition to that, um, many of our students are also interested in careers in project management. And, we are very closely related and working closely with, with the Project Management Institute and keeping in touch with that organization to make sure our students actually have the right skill sets to move into those careers. In terms of courses itself, there are several what I'm going to call required classes. And they range from a variety of things, and one of them is a class in project management. There's a class in leadership. There's a class in engineering economics. Along with that, there's also one additional class that is a statistics class that is right now in our program. And then we have some technical electives that you can choose from. One of the more favorite ones is looking into developing products and in product development. And then over and above that, there's two more electives that you can take. So as you can see, there's some core related classes that you'll have to take, and then you'll have some opportunity to move into some classes that you actually may be interested in, depending on, the career path that you're choosing into those areas. So hopefully that gives you a quick overview. And many of our students are actually interested in doing some sort of research, if you will. So there are some research opportunities, but many of the research opportunities are more what I'm going to call hands-on. So they may be looking into integration of something, or they may be looking into systems integration or something of that nature. So that's really kind of an overview of the program and some of the things that we're doing here. So if there's any questions, please let me know. I'm happy to stick around and stay on if anybody has any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Liu. We also have some students, or I see Aaron here. And so maybe it'll just be a conversation between you and me, Aaron. And we'll kind of try to tell students what it's like to be a student here at USC. So could you first introduce yourself, maybe tell students where you're from and maybe why you chose USC?
Yeah, for sure. Good morning, Julie. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for having me. My name is Aaron Torres Gonzalez. I'm a first year master's in engineering management here at USC. I'm from Lafayette, Indiana, so from the Midwest, born and raised in the United States. Um, One of the reasons why I chose USC is because they had a very good alumni network within USC, and I was really looking for like a competitive degree within my master's, and I wanted to like accelerate my career, and I just found that USC was a perfect fit for where I wanted to be within Los Angeles, and it didn't help that I had a older sister who was also an alum who was kind of whispering in my ear and giving me like a lot of good pointers and just kind of showing me life. So I got like a good tour before I even ever considered USC. So, so yeah, that's a little bit about me.
Awesome, thank you. So what have been your favorite classes so far?
Yeah, my favorite classes. So far I've only taken a total of four classes. So each semester, full time is considered two classes, so 8 units. Between those four classes that I've taken, I will say it would be ISC 500, which is statistics for engineering managers. I always liked. I'm not super good at statistics, and I'm not the best
Is.
statistician by any means, but it's really enjoyable because I see a lot of like value in it, especially with internships that I've had where I can see like where you can apply this. And I think statistics is just very, you can literally apply it to any field, to literally almost anything. And I really saw the value in it as soon as I started taking the class. So it's something that I tried like, find like refining my skills within it. And also project management, which is ISC uh 515. So currently I have Professor Harag who actually teaches part-time. He has like a full-time consulting business. So he gives us a lot of insight during class and gives us like real scenarios that he's dealt with. And I think just having him with like a lot of industry experience and not just being like a full-time professor and actually like doing the thing while teaching after school hours, I think is really helpful. And like I said, it's just very entertaining. It's hard to stay engaged when you're in a 4 hour evening class. So when he's in there and like giving you these real life scenarios and how this can apply in the real life, it's very engaging to say the least. So I would say those are my favorite classes.
Thank you. Awesome. Yes, I completely agree. I think that's one of the benefits of our program is that we have a lot of lectures that are from industry that can teach our students, exactly what's happening, and that is really an asset. Um, so I think a lot of our students also are wanting to know about how to navigate housing. Can you talk a little bit about that? I think, you mentioned that your sister was here, so it might have been a little bit easier for you to navigate, having someone that's been through it before. But I'm sure, nevertheless, it's always a little bit tricky. So can you tell us how you found housing?
Yeah, for sure. There's definitely multiple ways to go about it. As Julie mentioned earlier, there's some graduate student housing. There's not a lot, but it definitely exists. I know Viterbi like specifically has like this small portion of dorm housing that you can attend to. And I did look into it, and it was something that I was potentially thinking about, but then in the end I found it wasn't for me. So I started looking at apartments.com. And honestly, I think that's probably the most reputable way that you'll find somewhere to live. There's a lot of Facebook groups and honestly, a lot of sources where you can potentially find something, but I honestly think it's a little too much. And I would say beware of any scams. Like, I would not pay a deposit that it's not like in like a reputable like portal or anything like that. So I would definitely just be aware of any scams. I know they're pretty common here because they like target USC students. But for me, I found something on apartments.com, but then eventually in the end, I ended up finding someone through my sister who was just looking for an extra roommate, and that's how I eventually found it. But I was looking on apartments.com and I had found a couple of different options, and because there's just a ton of agencies that list on apartments.com, and it's honestly the best you'll get in my opinion. So, and it's reputable, like it's honestly the safest way to go. And a lot of the places are near campus and there's like a bunch of apartment buildings, so you can definitely find something on there. I think it's just a matter of like verifying that it's real, but on apartments.com I wouldn't say you'll have too much of a worry on making sure it's there because they are verified.
Yeah, that's great advice to just help our students to just kind of be on the lookout for scams, right? I mean, not everyone or not everything is going to be a scam, or not everyone's trying to scam you, but you do want to be smart. You do want to use common sense about, yeah, not just submitting a deposit anywhere, and then reaching out to current students. So Erin is one of our ambassadors that is, answering questions. So if you reach out and say, does this place exist? Our current students can kind of help with that. I've seen some questions in the chat. So could you please describe a typical week at USC in the engineering management program?
Yeah, for sure. So a typical week for me, as I mentioned earlier, since we're taking two classes, it gives us a lot of I wouldn't say free time, but flexibility. So since I have classes, I have a class on Monday and Wednesday from noon to 2, and then another class on Tuesday from 4 to 7:50. So on those days, I try and allocate all my time to just school. So I'll wake up early, like in the morning, and I'll have like the morning to get ready for classes, do my notes, like revise anything I need to do, read. I would say there's a lot more emphasis on reading than there was for me in undergrad. I will say that. And so just getting prepared before you get into the lecture. And then once I'm in my lecture, I allocate time to do my homework. And then literally by the evening, I'll say like 5, 6, that's when I have more time to free up. And I do have two part-time jobs, including this one. So I'll try and if I need to, I'll do what I need to do that night, or if I can push it off, I typically do reserve Thursday, Friday for that. So my other part-time job, I don't work more than 10 hours, so it's not much. Um, but it is a decent amount of chunk of your time during the week. So I'll try and wait and push it off to the days that I'm not doing classes. So once I'm done with like my weekend, so I have my weekend like Thursday, Friday, I can whatever I need to catch up on school wise, I'll do that. And also I'll allocate that time towards towards my work time because I know a lot of people do work while they do this program. And other than that, I will say I do try and reserve time for my friends. So there's a lot to do in LA, and there's always events going on. So I get a lot of FOMO or like fear of missing out because there's just always something going on. So I try and have all my stuff done early. So then the evening, if there's anything to do, I'll do that. Go to the gym. USC has two gyms, one on campus and one at the village. So I try and take advantage of that. And that's really what my what my day to day looks like. It sounds kind of mundane or boring, but it goes by fast and there's just a lot, like I said, there's a lot of things to do and like I just meet up with my friends when I can. And then the weekend comes and sometimes we'll have something planned. But like I said, there's a lot to do. So I go downtown. Um, yeah, I guess this past weekend I had just like a Sunday league game and I went to the Westwood area. So it's actually UCLA, where UCLA is at. But I had a Sunday league soccer game there. And then afterwards I went with my friend to K-Town or Koreatown just north of USC and we went to a night market and there's just like a lot of food stands and that was just kind of like my Sunday night. So it was nice to way to like just kind of de-stress and get ready for the week. So
Sounds amazing. I feel like Ciclavia was there, I think yesterday. Like where, so that's when lots of people they shut down streets in Koreatown and people bike, people run, people walk, but it's just like a way to like get out, be outside, be in the sun, and connect with people. There's little marketplaces. So yeah, very, very cool.
yeah.
Um, let's see, what else can we share with students? What are some things that you maybe wish you had known going in?
Ooh, that's a good question. I'm actually a little stumped on that.
Or, is there anything that you've been surprised?
Mhm. I was gonna say the one thing would be maybe the reading. I don't know if I was like when I saw that I only had, let's say, 8 hours of not even eight, yeah, about 8 hours of like in class time, I was like, oh, I'm gonna have a ton of free time. But I typically found myself doing a lot of outside work, more than I did like inside of my class. So, like I mentioned, I'm constantly like revising my notes, making sure they're like right, because like we can't always cover everything in class. And then I find myself reading the book or like case studies specifically. Like we always have case studies for like my project management class. We have like the HBS or like Harvard Business School like course packs. So every week we'll have like a chapter to read plus the case study. So we like typically have to like write notes or like highlight what stood out to us because more likely than not we have like a discussion in class and he'll kind of quiz us on some of the topics that went on and it's a good dialogue inside class, but you have to make sure you're prepared for it before going in. So I would say that's one thing that kind of surprised me, but I shouldn't say it was such a surprise, but I just wasn't expecting it to be as much.
No,
Um, and it's not horrible, but it is like, you on paper you're like, like I have Thursday, Friday off, but it's typically like, no, like you're doing work.
I get it. I think for engineering students or students that did engineering in their undergrad, it's a lot of, equation solving. It's a lot of, problem solving. But I think, yeah, in graduate school, it is a lot of reading and reading up on case studies and a lot of research. So I think that is something to be mindful of when starting your program. So I know a lot of students are also thinking about the job market and can you tell us if you've been able to use any resources or I know that you kind of already have your internship, so can you talk about anything that you've heard maybe from others about how to use and how to navigate USC's resources for finding jobs?
Yeah, no, for sure. So thankfully, I already have an internship through my fellowship. So before I even came to USC, I was already working. But I know Viterbi offers a lot of like career expos. So I know we had one back in February where employers will literally come to campus. So you don't have to like even travel or go to a conference or anything. Like you just, show up, look nice, resumes in hand, and it's typically on Trousdale. So it's like our main like I'll say main road on campus, and it's like there's just a ton of employers around Los Angeles, and like Julie mentioned earlier, there's a lot of like tech companies also here in the area, and certain companies that will come and looking to recruit, excuse me. So I would say like that's a really good opportunity that you don't even have to leave campus for to look for. potential employment opportunities. There's also Handshake. I know that's a really good like resource or tool. So every USC student has a Handshake account where you can log in and see job positions, not even just internships, but you can also look for part-time employment on there. So I would say those are two really good resources. Other than that, I know specifically the engineering management program offers a stipend once where you can potentially go for like a professional opportunity, excuse me. So you can use that stipend to go to like a conference, let's say like SWE, so like Society of Women Engineers, if they having a conference, you can go check it out, potentially get an employment opportunity, and then potentially even get reimbursed for it through the MEM program.
Oh, wow.
Hmm.
So I'm trying to read the questions from students coming in. So one is asking if the students in your classes, do you know if they have full-time job experiences before they started their program, or are most new grads straight from their bachelor's degree? Have you been able to connect with the students in your class to learn more about that?
Hmm. So I know the majority of them, I will say the majority of the population in my MEM program are international students, specifically from India. So I do get to connect with them, and I know a little bit, a lot of them are a little bit older than I am. So I am 22 years old. I'm straight from undergrad, so I will just, I have no real, I won't say real, but have no full-time experience on the job. But I will say most of them have like 1 to 2 years before they come over here and study. So I would say the majority of people do have at least 1 to 2 years. Other than that, like yeah, that seems to be like the median.
Okay, great. Yeah, and I think that sounds exactly right. Someone's asking, how technical are your courses?
Hmm. Yeah, so the first, so I would say the required courses, so like the four that I have taken personally, haven't been the most technical. I would say maybe like the statistics you could say is technical, specifically because you have to know like the theory, like basically all that comes with statistics, and also apply it through Excel. So we have like, um, so we were using a lot of Excel within our homeworks and classes. So it helps being proficient in Excel. Other than that, you can get technical with your classes because then you have a required technology course, and then you have two advisor approved electives. So with that, there's like a plethora of opportunities or like options to choose from. So it's really up to you as to how technical you want to get with it. But right now, currently me, I have not taken anything outside of my required courses, but those have been more reading and just like theory based where you just kind of like I would say almost like more sociology, honestly, because sometimes you just kind of see how people interact and like the cohesion within teams. You just kind of have to understand that portion. So I would say those like first core four required courses are less technical. The ones that stand out are the statistics, and then also like an econ/finance class because those are more math based. But in terms of like a software or anything like that, not too much.
Okay. And then I think lastly, what do you plan to do after you graduate?
Yeah, so after I graduate, I hope to become a project manager. So I kind of want to actually steer back into industrial engineering. So my undergrad, I did like an industrial engineering background where I guess I was about to assume everyone knows what that is, but essentially I wanted to go back into industry and kind of work in a manufacturing environment where I can apply that. So like reducing bottlenecks, finding waste, and then from there kind of build up my credibility a little bit within industry, and then potentially become a project manager. So that's kind of where I want to be at. There is product managers which I'm a little bit interested in, but currently I think project management is more my style because it's just like dealing with a lot of things at once and making sure we're meeting deadlines and like um it is very broad and I'm not really like tied down to an industry that I'm interested in. So that's kind of where I'm at. It's not like I'm not set in stone with what I want to do, but I have a good idea.
Great. Thank you so much. Thank you for just your openness and willingness to help out future students here. Um, I think we're going to still try to answer as many of these questions as possible. I do have a question for Professor Liu. If Professor Liu, you're still here. I see that, some students are asking about, program outcomes, and I know that you touched about that earlier on. But maybe you can tell us a little bit more about program outcomes.
Okay, so I'm assuming when we say program outcomes, we're talking about where students are going after they graduate. Is that what you mean?
I think so.
I think that's what's meant, right? So I think it's a variety of things. Okay, so naturally, many of our students move on to careers. Like Aaron's saying, there's lots and lots of opportunities for careers. Many of them stay in California, and they'll move up and down California from San Diego all the way up to Northern California, just depending on where they land their jobs. Another a recent migration is lots of opportunities in Texas. Simply because many of the highly sought after jobs like Tesla and jobs of that nature is migrating to Texas. So there are quite a bit of students that actually will do internships in Texas and eventually move to Texas, which is a very interesting migration that we're seeing. We also have some students that actually will return home. Many of our international students will return home to continue their careers and kind of move into opportunities there. We also have students that actually want to work overseas, and they actually do have opportunities to do overseas assignments as well. So it just kind of depends on where you want to be and where you want to go. We do have a small population of students that actually decide that they're going to continue and stay in academia and then move on to a PhD program. So just about every semester, I'll get about 3 or 4 students requesting recommendations for their submissions in applications into PhD programs. So good on them. So it's just kind of it's a variety of things. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't put my video back on, but it's a variety of things, and again, just depends on the student and where they want to go.
Thank you so much for that. And I hope that's in answering questions. Okay, I'll just take some of these that I'm seeing here because I'm sure that lots of students have questions about RA and TA roles. So research assistant and teaching assistant roles are specifically for our doctoral students. Our doctoral students at USC are unionized, and so only doctoral students can hold those positions. But I want to let master's students know that there are opportunities for you to be course producers in a course, and that is a paid position. You can often do research in a lab if that interests you. You might start as a volunteer and then, work your way to being a paid student to do research in a lab, now that you've proven yourself. So those positions do exist as well as on-campus jobs, but specifically RA and TA ships are for our doctoral students. For internships, will we get a chance to work in some manufacturing firm? So we do not do job placement here at USC. We equip our students very, very well to find jobs and land jobs that they, want themselves, but we do not place students in jobs. So if that is something that you are desiring, I really encourage you to take advantage of the resources that we do have in our Career Center that are going to very much help you to present yourself in the best light and to be able to land the job that you want. How do students without work experience typically fare? So I think that a lot of employers come to our campus knowing that students don't have a lot of work experience because, you may have been a full-time student the whole time. You may have had to work part-time jobs, and so didn't have a chance to really seek out internships. Lots of things. You might have done research. Lots of things that could be the reason. I think our Career Center is really good at helping you to tailor your resume to showcase your strengths and highlight things that you've done maybe in your academic career that can be applicable to an internship or an employer. So don't be afraid to come on in and take advantage of those resources. They'll help you work on your pitch and help you put your best foot forward. Okay, questions are coming. Scholarships. So we do provide scholarships for all of our student applicants, international and domestic. I do believe that our scholarship candidates have been identified at this point. So if you have not received word that you've been selected for an interview, there's a high likeliness that you have not been designated for a scholarship. We do encourage you to seek out external scholarships. There are lots of resources that you can try to look at. I know that USC has an awards database that you can look for scholarships in. If you're an international student, you might want to look at Education USA is a good place to start. I think there's an EDU Pass that might be a good resource for you, but I highly recommend looking at external scholarships. Aaron, do you want to take this one? I was wondering what the typical class size is for courses in engineering management.
Yeah, I would say in comparison to undergrad, they're a lot smaller. I would say max 30, and that's pushing it. Like that's like the class is full. And especially for like the evening or night classes, I would say like it's probably like around 20 students. Like I said, that's like pushing it. Sometimes it's a little less. So it's very intimate. I find that like it helps me be more engaged because then like I feel like the professor or instructor is like looking at you more and you're constantly like asking questions or doing other things, trying to stay engaged. But I would say 20 to 30 and 30 like is more, I would say more on the rare side, but it's um around there.
Great. I did see some questions earlier about when should we be on campus and maybe when does the fall semester start and things like that. So I believe you all will receive information in July about meeting with your advisor. I think you usually have webinars in July, and that in there they will go over how to register for classes. Very different than undergrad. Undergrad, you have your registration date and time, and you have to be on it or else your classes are going to fill up. In your graduate program here, the classes, like Aaron mentioned, are probably never going to fill up, and so you have time. Lots of students are still kind of settling their schedule, the first week of school. I don't recommend that. I recommend you make your schedule a little bit before, but you're not going to be late by any means. Most students register around August. For our international students that are here, school begins, I believe, the last week of August, but orientation is the second week of August. So I recommend that you are here on campus for the second week of August, and that will allow you to get your passport verified because you will not be able to register for classes until your passport is verified on campus. So you need to go through that process. We recommend 2 weeks before campus. And for those that are domestic but are going to be, traveling from across the country, try to be here by the second week of August because that is when orientation is. I hope that that's helpful for you all. So I mentioned that they will have a webinar to go over how to register for classes. And if you still feel like you need more information or more guidance, you can schedule one-on-ones with your academic advisor. I see a question about elaborating on the co-op program. I don't know if we have an official co-op program. I know a lot of students do co-ops, but they feel like they find those opportunities on their own. Is that the same that you would say, Aaron, or is there a co-op program that you know about?
No, I have no idea of any co-op program. I don't know. Can you specify? Because I am not aware of one, but yeah.
Yeah, and the ones that I know about, the students find them on their own where an employer engages them. So I think that a lot of students do it and they're able to work it out, but it's not something that we offer students.
If I could just jump in for a minute here, this is Ray. I just wanted to let most of our graduate students actually do internships rather than co-op. Our Career Connections group can help students find a co-op if that's what they are really looking for, even as a grad student. But generally speaking, at USC, grad students do internships instead.
Thank you, Ray. And thank you to a lot of members on my team that have been here answering your questions in the chat. Very thankful for our group. How many semesters does the program usually last? I believe 4. Is that your understanding, Dr. Liu or Aaron?
Yeah, 4 semesters. You can do an accelerated, and I think finish in 3, but typically it's 4.
I like to recommend to students too. I know that there's several reasons why you might be in a rush to graduate early or to finish as fast as you can. Students often tell me that they appreciate the 2 years because it gives them more time to network and make connections and to find that employment, that full-time offer at the end. 1 year, 1.5 years, it goes by so super fast. And if you're putting all of that emphasis into your program, you might not have a lot of time to look for careers. Okay, I think that is going to be it for us. I'm excited that you've all been admitted and to hopefully see you in the fall. Please reach out and say hello. Aaron and I are frequently on campus and Professor Liu too. So we hope to see you in the fall. All right, have a great day and fight on.
Thank you very much. See
Thank
ya. Bye-bye.